The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Diego Castro, bringing you the biggest headlines from around the world. The death toll from a train crash in Greece has climbed to 38. Passenger train carrying 350 people, mostly university students, collided with a freight train as it emerged from a tunnel. Authorities are now investigating why the trains coming in opposite directions were running on the same track. Rescue teams fear that casualties could rise further as the crash was followed by a fire in one carriage. Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis vowed to determine the cause of the, quote, unspeakable tragedy.
What we are expecting today is very, very difficult as a country. We are talking about an unspeakable tragedy. Our thoughts today are first and foremost with the relatives of the victims. Our duty is to treat the wounded and from there to identify the bodies. From there, one thing I can guarantee, we will find out the cause of this tragedy and do everything in our power to make sure it never happens again.
Reuters reports that the U.S. is sounding out close allies about the possibility of imposing fresh sanctions on China. Citing official sources, Reuters said in an exclusive report that sanctions could be imposed against China if Beijing provides military support to Russia for its war in Ukraine. The report comes as Belarusian President and staunch Russian ally Alexander Lukashenko pays a state visit to Beijing, where he met some of China's top leaders, including President Xi Jinping. Xi said China is willing to work with Belarus to promote the healthy and stable development of bilateral relations at a high level. She also said China and Belarus should support each other in safeguarding their own core interests, opposing interference by external forces and in internal affairs, and protecting the sovereignty and political security of the two countries. Lukashenko, meanwhile, noted that Belarus' friendship with China is not aimed against other countries.
There are no off-limits topics for our cooperation. We cooperate in all directions. And the main thing is that we, the People's Republic of China and Belarus, have never set out the goal to be friends or work against third countries, against anyone.
But ahead of his state visit to China, Lukashenko said that together with Russia, Belarus is capable of producing any type of weaponry in cooperation with each other. Lukashenko's visit comes as Washington warned Beijing against supplying lethal weapons to Russia, which needs arms for what it refers to as its special military operation in Ukraine.
Despite unprecedented sanctions and pressure, we produce sufficient quantities of weaponry and military material to meet the needs of the Belarusian army. This is due to the fact that all we need in terms of military hardware, we easily receive from Russia. But as far as microelectronics, optical electronics, optics, etc. are concerned, thank you to those who preserved the legacy of the Soviet Union. And therefore, together with Russia, we are capable of manufacturing any type of weapon.
An advisor to the Ukraine's president says Kyiv might pull its troops from the key stronghold of Bakhmut. The official says that while troops have held the city so far, the military would pull back to avoid sacrificing unnecessary lives. This comes amid Russia's months-long offensive on Bakhmut. The potential withdrawal suggested that Russia could capture the city that has become a symbol of Ukrainian resistance. Analysts say the fall of Bakhmut would be a blow for Ukraine and offer tactical advantages to Russia. Russian control of the city, however, would not prove decisive to the war's outcome. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now World. I'm Diego Castro. TikTok is developing a parental control tool for its platform. The tool will allow parents to prevent their teens from viewing content containing certain words or hashtags. The Chinese-owned app said it plans to consult with parenting and civil society organizations for its development. TikTok's move comes as it faces criticisms for not doing enough to shield teens from inappropriate content. Microsoft is aiming to reinvent internet search with the AI-powered ChatGPT. However, it's Microsoft search rival Google that stands to potentially benefit from their upgrade. No need to Google why. Find out in this Bloomberg Quick Take.
Could the rise of Microsoft and ChatGPT actually help Google? There are plenty of people out there who say Google has effectively a monopoly in online search. After all, we talk about Googling something rather than Binging it. I tend to only say it if I'm joking. But right now, Google is facing serious pushback from regulators for its dominance of online search and the advertising dollars that come with it. But there are historical examples of companies that have benefited from having a little bit of competition. Intel, for instance, dominated the semiconductor space for a very long time, but the presence of AMD offering a little bit of competition made it harder for regulators to justify any breakup of the company. As Microsoft starts to build some of the AI functionality of ChatGPT into its Bing search engine, it could start to pose a more viable threat to Google. There's going to be a sweet spot for Google where it can point to Microsoft as being so viable a competitor that regulators can't justify pushing through a breakup, but that it's not so big that it's eating Google's lunch when it comes to those lucrative search advertising dollars. The spectre here is the experience of Microsoft itself, which faced massive regulatory pushback 15 years ago for its dominance of web browsers. In the middle of that regulatory battle, Google introduced Chrome, one of the pillars of its present-day success. Google wants to ensure it doesn't suffer the same fate as Microsoft.
Here are the latest in the entertainment front. Justin Bieber has canceled all the remaining dates of his Justice World Tour. The tour's Twitter account announces that fans could seek refunds. Bieber said in September that he would be, quote, taking a break from touring for the time being to focus on his health. Ed Sheeran announces that he is releasing his fifth studio album, Subtract, on May 5. The British singer-songwriter says songs in this upcoming album will detail his journey through fear, depression, and anxiety. This especially as he reveals that his wife developed a tumor during her pregnancy. And Netflix releases a teaser trailer for its upcoming stop-motion animated series, Pokémon Concierge. In a tweet, Pokémon says the series will follow the character Haru, a worker at the Pokémon Resort, and Psyduck as they meet Pokémon and trainers on vacation. The series is a collaboration between the Pokémon Company and animation company Dwarf Studios, best known for the popular Japanese character Domo-kun. And those are the top world headlines of the hour. Join us again at 9 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register an account now at signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Coming right up is Agenda at 8 a.m. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News. All sides, all the time.